Okay, everybody, are you ready for a super awesome plant tour of another legendary grower and landscape designer and contractor? No, I'm not the only one that does this cool exotic stuff professionally in people's landscapes. There are others, and this is one that I certainly want you to call, assuming I'm too busy, which might be the case. I am in the Oakland Hills right now at my buddy Caspar Curto's house. You can look him up. He's a landscape designer and a contractor. He buys stuff from us occasionally over at the nursery. And I helped him put in some big palms here years and years ago. And I haven't been to his garden in a long time. But now he's having a Palm Society meeting here. And when you devote your life to your garden like Caspar did, the day it's going to look the best is the day you have all your buddies over from the Palm Society, which he has today. They're in the front yard having a meeting, and I'm ducking the meeting. I got here late. I ate food, and then I ran to the backyard to see it. So I'm back here all by myself. Let's do a tour. Look at this place. So there's so many intricate things here to see. I'll try to limit the video as best I can. This is a metal sculpture that's somehow nailed to this piece of driftwood all the way up. And there's simply a copper tube. Takes the water all the way down, and ultimately it ends up at the bottom with some quartz rocks in here and goes into that pit, and then it recirculates. Isn't that cool? And you've got your Costa Rican frogs and lizards laying around. There's so much detail here I can't even tell you. Got some wonderful sound on the chimes, and Caspar's huge into bromeliads and tillandsias and orchids, epiphytic plants, but he's also into all kinds of other things too. And you can see just outside his door in his backyard. We're not even going to see his front yard. We don't have enough time for that. But look at all the beautiful things he has back here. Look at this beautiful tillandsia. That almost looks like an Echium wild predii there. And these different cactus flowering, epiphytic cactus, epiphyllums. Look at that. So let's go do our tour. The more you look, the more you see here. But check out it's an interesting golden light coming down from this material here. It's casting like a golden hue of color onto the space. There's another little type of bromelia that's a ground cover in South America. It's just a trip. It's just a big blob, and you can't kill it. It takes years for it to grow, but all you need to do is take a little piece, put it in a pot, and wait 20 years, and this is what you get. Some really nice spider aloes, haworthias, and like I said, lots of orchids. There's a nice deck down here. When you look at this garden, you think, wow, this is a nice little garden. Lots of nice, pretty things. There's a beautiful hectia right here. Look at that beautiful hectia. It's in bloom. It's in orange. We've got a little hummingbird doing his thing. Yeah, you look at this garden, you think, okay, it's a nice garden, right? Oh, look, there's a path. Let's follow the path. What could possibly... Oh, look, I believe this is Bumaria. Bumaria right there. Isn't that pretty? So it's over the arch here. This is a South American native. I believe it's native to Chile. Let's see what that looks like. And so we're going to go up the hill because, oh, look at this. I actually have this. It's some kind of bromeliad. I don't know what it is, but it comes out of this little nothing down here. Isn't that cool? Look at that. Like I said, I don't know what it is. There's more of them. One there. And giant bird of paradise. That might have come from my nursery. But look, garden keeps going. This is pretty serious when you start going up the hill. Just think about having to lug all these rocks. Just to get them to here, you have to go up a huge staircase from the street. So you can imagine how difficult that was going up. You've got this one central beautiful oak in the middle, Quercus agrifolia. It's a nice filtered light. He has it really trimmed nicely in here. That gives some nice shade for some Australian tree ferns and some rhododendrons. And he's got a whole nother epiphytic. Look at this. He's got his bromeliads starting on a tree fern trunk here, growing up, and then tied onto the structure, and ultimately climbing the structure epiphytically. So he's creating what I've never seen a bromeliad arch like this before, an epiphytic arch, but there it is. First one I've seen. He's got a variegated cordyline up there, and we're gonna climb the hill. I just got grabbed by a vine, and he's got some funky, cool heads. Gotta love this kind of thing in the exotic garden. There's a Beschneria blooming right over there. See, it's the variegated plant right here, Beschneria, and there's the interesting pink flower stalk. That's terminal. That plant will die, but it'll sprout babies. And then there's a whole bunch of Aloe plicatilus, the duck's bill aloe, because it looks like a duck's bill right there. What else? Different types of Beschneria, more duck's bill. Here's a really beautiful plant. I have this in my garden. It's a cordyline, and it gets this. It's a variegated one, but it gets this really interesting bark on it down here. You can see, super drought tolerant plant. We have a rose arch, and the garden gets. You think right when you're running out of garden, it just gets more interesting to the point where this is probably the coolest part of the garden. Now look at all the neat things up here. Up in the Oakland Hills, this is a zone 16, another bromeliad arch. I don't know if I've ever seen a bromeliad arch before. Well, yeah, no, I have. It's back that way down the hill. Saw it 5 minutes ago. Here's an interesting sculpture. It's like some sort of agave-looking sculpture. What else do we have here? We have the headlamp aeonium right there. It's like my exposure's coming in and out. Really beautiful arbor. I did a garden with all these names are escaping. I know this plant. Look at that. I don't think my exposure is working so well right now. But did a garden with Caspar at the San Francisco Flower and Garden Show some years ago. And we won a bunch of awards, had all kinds of bromeliads, and I brought all my palms in. One of the cool things about what Caspar's got going on here is all these little water features that really mitigate the sound of the streets and the city of Oakland below. And this Zone 16 garden has some funky catfish. That's different. A bromeliad house where you can see there's actually a mister going off, probably on a timer. We'll walk into the mist. And yeah, it's a mister right there. It's creating a cloud forest-like condition in here. Caspar has all these different greenhouses up on top of the slope. So we'll go see them. That's greenhouse number one. Remember that bromeliad misting house? Some Chinese ground orchids, finished. A little bit of flower left, one little flower. It's a wonderful plant, looks like a palm, but it gets purple flowers. Spreads all over on the ground. Super cold hardy. And there's a lady palm over here. Some various agaves. And some interesting pathways that lead off back to the very back of the garden, back there. Staghorn ferns, giant staghorn ferns around. One back over there, really pretty. Like I said, all kinds of bromeliads everywhere you look. There's like just little things everywhere. There's so much to take care of here. I can't believe Caspar does it all. Maybe he doesn't have time to do your garden. Maybe he's too busy here. But we'll go into this shade house in here. This is a cool, unmisted shade house of bromeliads that don't need constant misting. A little bit of storage, and then beautiful array of various bromeliads through here. A nice variegated Nerealgelia right there. And what else can we find here? Garden kind of ends at the top of the hill. And yeah, there's just so many plants here. It's just crazy. Look at this table of all these intricate things. There's a flower coming off this tillandsia right now. Really beautiful. And lots of different bright red bromeliads hanging from this structure here. Just can't beat that color. So bright. There's a real beautiful depth of perspective depth here. There's an aloe dichotoma. That's a kind of a tough plant to grow here in the Oakland Hills. Usually it rots. He's got two of them actually. There's one here, and then there's one over there. So those are really nice. We have a plant that's blooming right now called Calandrinia. I believe this plant is from Peru. It's a succulent. I'd have to look that up, but that's a really tough plant. We sell this at the nursery. I'll come down and get one of those. They're really tough. We have another bromeliad house up here. And look, another water feature. They just don't end. Isn't that pretty? This is one of my favorite bromeliads, Varicia imperialis. There's a new name for it to make the old people feel bad because they don't know the new name. But that thing gets huge, a big giant red flower when it finally blooms. We'll circumnavigate through. We have lots of Spanish moss hanging down everywhere. And some cymbidium orchids that are out of bloom at the moment. Here's a really beautiful bromeliad. Here, look at this one with the hooks on it. See those hooks? It gives it a really interesting look. You know, bright burgundy color, and look at that flower on that. That's pretty striking there. Cruising out of the garden, some nice aeonium mixed in with the silver. And look at all the stone he had to carry up. Everything he had to carry up. I don't know how he got this stuff up here. We have another oak that's really detailed out nicely. There's a Lepidosmia cycad. That's from Australia. Real beautiful plant. And more epiphytic cactus. And, you know, that's about it. Just really beautiful, well done garden. Caspar should be incredibly proud of it, and really happy to be here. So there you go. The Caspar Curto garden.